I have not shared it with anybody in my family. In fact, I've decided to do suicide also.
Talking about your father's death. So, how did you actually overcome that? I mean, especially during that particular time.
As kids, we never saw a funeral. First funeral I attended or I saw was my father's.
There is a rumor that says that in your father's death, there was third factor involved.
Yeah,
And it
no. Rumor annadi em ledandi. Clear fact is that
that's a real
that's a real thing. My father's own brother is involved in this. మీరు నన్ను అడగండి ఊబర్ డ్రైవర్ చేయడం అంటే నాకు ఇష్టం ఉంటుందా? రేంజ్ రోవర్ కార్లో తిరిగాడు ఎవ్వరూ చెప్పుకోరు నేను ఊబర్ డ్రైవర్గా చేశానని. సో ఐ వాజ్ మేకింగ్ నేమ్ అండ్ ఫేమ్. ఐ వాజ్ మేకింగ్ రికార్డ్స్ అండ్ బ్రేకింగ్ రికార్డ్స్ అండ్ స్టఫ్ లైక్ దట్. బికాస్ స్కేటింగ్ ఐ వాజ్ నాట్ మేకింగ్ మనీ. I was stuck in four walls. Lot of criticism. People thought I would, breaking a leg will never make me normal again. But combined is about more than 100 medals, 67 gold medals from district, state, national to international, and 30 something was silver and 13 were bronze. So more than 100 medals in my skating career.
Where are more than 100 medals?
The
actually?
last I saw one of the national silver medal my nephew was playing.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm not taking care of the medals, I would say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Can't Count Them. This is your host, Navina, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you here. The story we're about to unfold will leave you truly inspired. Today, we have a guest who is one of India's fastest ice skater and fastest roller skater. Over the course of his career, he has earned more than 100 medals, showcasing his exceptional abilities and skill to the sport. He's also the first Indian speed skater to qualify for Olympic World Cup trials held at Salt Lake City, USA. However, his journey goes far beyond the rink. His story is made of resilience, faith, and exceptional adversary challenges. Without much further delay, let's welcome Stephen Killari Garu. Hi, Stephen Garu.
Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you for having me on the show.
No, thank you so much for coming to our show. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Yeah, thank you for accepting our invitation and coming. So, shall we get started?
Yes, I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, we will start from the beginning, right? Can I know a little bit about your childhood, where you were born, your upbringing, your siblings?
Yeah. So, as a child, I was, born in Eluru, a small town close to East Godavari district, and I was born there, but I was raised pretty much in Visakhapatnam in the initial years, and then came to Hyderabad in the year 2000. So for last 25 years, I've been living in Hyderabad. I do call myself a Hyderabadi more than a Vizag, because most of the time of my life I lived in Hyderabad. So yeah.
How many siblings and who are your parents? I know that they're very famous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So my father is Killari David Raju. He was president for GUM Ministries and TAPPC Ministries. And my mother is Killari Esther Rani. She runs a church called Holy Vision Ministries in Manikonda. I have two brothers, Solomon Raju and Matthew Samuel. Solomon Raju is a pastor in Visakhapatnam. And Matthew Samuel has just started his ministry about a year ago. He was assisting my mom for almost more than 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then he started his own ministry recently. He's also a film producer. He's making a Bollywood film. So, yeah, looking forward for his debut into movies and things like that.
Yeah. So, during one of your testimonies in a public gathering, you told about how your parents wanted to exchange you for a girl, right?
Yeah.
So, could you please elaborate a little bit?
So, I would say it is not parents. Actually, it's just my mom and my
Okay.
mom's mother. So, in those old days back in like 91, those days there's no much of telephone or anything. You send your wife to your home, to their hometown to have a baby, and when the news comes, the father comes. During that gap, mainly one of the reasons is my mom had a girl child first. The girl child passed away after 1.5 years or so. Then she had a second boy child, and then he also almost passed away. He had a miraculous saving. They almost like tried to do his funeral, but he
Oh.
woke up right, and then that's another testimony. And then came Matthew, and in between Matthew and me, there was another boy child. They had a miscarriage. And then came me. My mom was just hoping that this would be a girl because she always wanted to have a girl child. And she was a little disappointed and things like that. And in the village which they lived, there was another old couple. They were about 35, 36 years old. And they had a lot of farmland. So they always wanted a boy child. And just to take care of the farm, farm thing and everything. And they had a girl child. So they were a little disappointed. So with these two families being disappointed, my grandmother thought if they could exchange, it will bring justice and things like that. She proposed it to my mom. My mom was little hesitant munde in the beginning, but then she said maybe it is not a bad idea. They came to the church. They almost tried to swap, but God spoke to my mother and said, don't do this. And she backed off, and the rest is history.
Do you think you would have been, do you think you would have achieved so many accolades if that would have happened?
See, again, it is all, I would say, every person is born with fire, right? Some people start off young, some people start off in the mid, some people would excel later. Basically, there's a very close friend of mine, Kirat Singh. We did an interview with Indian Speed Skating Union. It's the World Federation. And when he had to endorse me, he said, Stephen is not talented. Stephen is hardworking. So when a person is hardworking, right, you will figure out a way how to succeed in whatever you do. It may be skating, it may be business, it may be even farming. There are a lot of people today. Earlier, farming was considered to be a very low key to people. But today, there are a lot of people who earn crores of money doing farming. So maybe I would have, there is, you give me something, I'm a hustler kind of a mentality. I will try to get things done, get them done at a good speed. And I try to have a realistic dream of how to achieve things. So that is, those are the things,
Okay. By the time you were born, your parents were already in ministries.
Correct.
Yeah. So you're born already into a family of ministry. So where did skating come along?
I think around in 1999, we went to Shivaji Park just as a family. And then I saw skating, and it was really fascinating for me. As about 7 years old, I saw people were skating, and it really thrilled me, and I really wanted to do. And they had a summer camp at that point of the time for 15 days or so. So I told my mom, I want to sign up for this. And when she inquired more about it, they said you have to be at training at 5 a.m. Then my mom said, this is right next to impossible. She didn't know how to drive then, and no driver would come at 5 a.m. So one of my drivers said, just for extra money, he said, I will come and take him to training. So when that came up with a solution, the driver would come and pick me up and stuff like that. So I started off with fun. I did it for 15 days. I really loved it, enjoyed it thoroughly, and we immediately shifted to Hyderabad right after the summer. So I was very disappointed that I started this sport. I really had a lot of passion and love towards it, and I can't continue it. So once we moved to Hyderabad, and I was a little disappointed how to start this sport. And then I moved to Jubilee Hills Public School. They had an activity. Skating was one of the activity. So I refueled that passion. I signed up for skating as a sport, and then I was trained under Mr. Satyan Narayana. So he was one of my first coach. Again, he was very passionate. He used to pick me up from my house to train me extra classes. These days, nobody do it to you. Your driver doesn't show up at 4:30 a.m. for you, nor your coach will come and pick you up. And later stage, I started with Mr. Abbas Iqbal Lasania. He was one of the best coach at that point of the time, and he himself represented India in World Championships. So I knew if I had to go to that level, I have to go to Mr. Abbas, and that he's the one who will take me to that level. So that is how the whole skating journey started. I was with him from 2002 to 2012, and initial days was very hard because 4:30 a.m. he was a
Yeah.
very strict coach, very disciplined, I would say, and also strict. And so even if you're 5 minutes late, you can't train. So at that discipline it required, and by then I was just a district champion. I was not even
Oh.
not even like but what I realized is he kept that structure. That discipline is the most priority thing, then comes your training, then comes winning and things like that. So he really helped me to achieve whatever I could. Every year he kept updating my goals. If you win district, you win state. You win state, you win national. If you win national, you go to international. If you win international, then you aim at Asians. If you win Asians, you go to World Championships. So pretty much everybody somewhere or the other stopped at the World Championship. I was the one person who said, I want to go to Olympics.
Yeah.
And for a skater from India,
Yeah.
doing ice skating is right next to impossible because we don't really
Yeah,
have snow or ice, and
exactly.
whatever ice we have is in Shimla and Jammu, and it was very seasonal.
Yeah.
So that is when I realized, I did a little bit of research back in the day. I knew that there was an Olympic training centers in Canada and US, and that is when I realized I have to shift to one of those countries to take it to the next level.
And you moved to that country.
Yeah, I
right?
moved to that country.
So you have transitioned from a small town to Hyderabad, which
Yeah.
is kind of metropolitan during that time, and then to the US. So how was this transition like? And were there any culture shocks? How did the people treat you, especially in the abroad too? Yeah.
So again, the first transition wasn't very hard. Vizag to Hyderabad wasn't very hard. Uh, it took some time, but this whole, that I would say Vizag is more like a Telugu, more intimate kind of a thing. Hyderabad was more English and those kind of things. And I always felt, why was I treated different? It really didn't trigger to me until, that I'm a Christian kind of a thing. But later they started accepting me because I was so good at sports. So they really, again, that warmth came, that connections came. I made good friends, so initially was not that hard. But US was definitely a task, because, a lot of people over there. And, just imagine, you put like 20 people who have the same vision in the same room. There's going to be differences, right? We at the Olympic Center, everybody wants to go to the Olympic Center. Everybody has that mindset that they are the best.
Yeah.
Or at least they have to come with that mindset that they are the best, regardless the results. And everybody has to give their best. So it is an uncomfortable room, I would say, because everybody has the same dreams, same goals, same training plan. Everything was same, but one thing was clear is, my coach, Derek Para, he really helped me with this transition. There was this one time I remember I was at the Olympic Center and the ice, was not really cleaned well. And all the skaters were complaining, the Americans were complaining, the Colombians were complaining, the Koreans were complaining, everybody was complaining, and I was not complaining. And he pulled me out in front of everybody and he told me one thing. I've seen you guys all having a tough day today because the ice was not good, but Stephen is not complaining. Do you know why Stephen is not complaining? Because Stephen traveled 13,000 kilometers to be here. Stephen is loving the atmosphere here. Stephen Paul loves what he's doing. And you guys always want the best. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So you have to really accept that. And I felt very happy, actually, somebody like an Olympic gold medalist really acknowledging me in front of the team regarding what kind of attitude you need to have during training. So I would say US was tough, but with the coach Derek Para, I could really transition really fit into the atmosphere.
Yeah. And your parents, when you started, how did they ever imagine that you would make it so big? And especially because you're born into a ministry filled family, they would generally anticipate, right? Expect you to take forward the ministry and church. So how did they take it?
So, firstly, I would say my support system started with my mom. She was like, I don't know why, but she really supported me.
Very progressive.
Very progressive. She learned driving in 2000. I'm talking about 25 years ago,
Wow.
where women wouldn't
Yeah.
drive that much. She's a farmer's daughter. She, you when you ask about my transitioning, I would see my mother's transitioning into a greater woman. From being coming from Eluru to Visakhapatnam to Parvatipuram to Hyderabad. Even in Hyderabad, she could be comfortable. There are 4 drivers at that point of time for us, and she said, "No, I want to drive." And she played a very crucial role. Again, she used to take me to training at 5 a.m. for almost close to 10 years. She did that, and she never expected me to win. She never told me you got to prove something to somebody. She never told me, she never treated me wrong when I lost. She never treated me great when I won. So she always kept that humbleness. Results really didn't matter to her. She wanted me to be in a sport active, and that is the only reason she did it. And I feel that is one of the blessing. I never had a pressure that my mom was watching, or I have to do it for my mom or for my dad and things like that. These days, when I see kids skating, right, or doing sports, they have a lot of pressure from their parents.
Yeah.
And in fact, when my coach had an application form, it said something like the parents' duty is to drop the kids to the academy and pick them up from there. The coach takes care of the rest. That was in the application form. My dad read that out and he felt little
Taken aback.
taken back, but that kind of freedom you need to give the coach. Choosing the coach is definitely a parent's role, but again, giving that freedom to the coach is also you're responsible. My mom really helped me. I think around 2006, my father's role started coming up when I went to ice skating national championship. He just came as a guest kind of a thing with my mom. And so the funny thing is there's an ice skating rink. There's about 100 people around the rink. And I was skating and I fell down during the race. And when I fell down, my father, saw me falling down. I got up. But when I was getting up, there was like 50, 60 people cheering for me, saying, "Come on, Stephen, go, 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 go." So from a guy who fell, when I fell, I was at the 4th place. And I crossed 3rd, I came 2nd, I finished 2nd. That day, my father realized something. Those guys who are cheering Stephen are not his relatives, not his family, nobody, but they're doing it. He's my son. Why am I not supporting my son? So when that change came, right, he really changed completely. Right after that, we went to Switzerland. I finished 5th in Swiss Inline Cup. It was one of the proud moment for my dad and things like that. I and my dad traveled 6 countries together. Every time I was competing, he was there with me. So that kind of journey I and my dad had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during your entire journey, there was also a moment when your father passed away.
Correct.
And you were in a you were at a very crucial stage. In fact, you were, I think you had a tournament going on at that
Correct,
time.
correct.
So can you also explain about that phase of your life?
So in 2010, I was training for this national championship, and I was in one of the best forms possible. And I really took that nationalship very seriously because I wanted to prove something this time. Earlier, I was winning national medals, but I was winning gold, silver. But this time, I wanted to say like I'm the dominant guy, going up there. So I was, we went to Nagpur like a week ahead. We were training for the national championship. I was very comfortable on the track. Usually that doesn't happen, and I was very comfortable. Everything was clicking right. Everything is going right and everything. And suddenly, my coach gets a phone call that my father passed away and I'm at the training center. My phone was ringing, but I was not answering the phone. So my coach took the phone away from me and he said, "Stephen, you need to go back to Hyderabad." And but I felt a little awkward, how can a coach take your phone away? How can he
Yeah.
answer your phone away? But people were trying to tell me that my father passed away. Somehow that was hidden during that point of the time. So my brother called me and he said, Stephen, you have to come back. Dad met with an accident. I told him, if my dad was so supportive, right, from 2006 and everything. I told him something like, if dad just met with an accident, he would want me to compete. He said, Dad wants to talk to you. That is when I packed my bag. I went, and by then my father was no more there. So it was very, I would say, one of the toughest things in my life, because as kids, we were never taken to a funeral. So I didn't see
Oh.
my grandfather's funeral. I didn't see my grandmother's funeral. As kids, we never saw a funeral. So
Oh.
the first funeral I attended or I saw was my father's. So it was I didn't know how to react, what happens, and all these things. Uh, so the whole process was very tough, because I was just I was 16 years old, and I was just I had no idea what life is by then. So when I was going through that, I would say, it there is a longer story to it, but I don't want to go there yet. But the whole process took 3 days for us to, for my father's body to come to our house and things like that. So we were waiting on my father's body. We were waiting for somebody to come from abroad so that they could attend the funeral and things like that. And after the funeral, everything is done. My coach calls my mom calls my coach and says something like, call Stephen back to the national championship. And I think my coach says, I don't think he will come. And then my mom says, give it a try. I don't want Stephen to lose his national championship. And I don't want him to go through this phase really hard on him also. I remember one of my PT sir came during the funeral. For last 3 days, I didn't eat anything. He took me to one of the van and he said, did you eat anything? I said, no, sir. He slapped me so hard and he said, eat now. And he made me eat and I ate. And then next day, I packed my bag, went to the national championship. Uh,
The
I
very
had-
next day.
The very next day. I did my father's funeral the very next day. I'm at the national championship and I see everybody looking at me like, how did this guy
Turn up.
turn
Yeah.
up? And I really didn't turn up to win national medal because by then I was already had multiple gold medals. I wanted to do it for my dad. That was a main thing, that my dad would love to see me win gold medals. And there was this skater from Karnataka. He was one of the most dominant skater. He never tasted a silver medal in his career. He was a very dominant. So we were not clashing because there was an age gap. So whenever he's in 14 to 16, I was in 12 to 14. When he's 16 to 18, I was 14 to 16. So I think once we clashed, he beat me. And the next time we are clashing again in Nagpur. So this time I wanted to prove, right, as I was preparing for this national championship. So I went there. I told myself that, I have to win this. There were a lot of people coming to me and asking me, there was a person who came, Stephen, who do you think is going to win the race? I asked him why. He said, I want to bet on the person who's going to win. I actually want to bet on you, but since you attended your father's funeral, I don't think you will win the national medal. I said only one thing to him, that if you want your money back, bet on me. And I still remember that race, that I really wanted to do it for my dad, and I beat this person by literally like a fraction of few micros. But and then as I crossed the line, I said I did it for my dad, and that's one of the moment. I think one of the most memorable moment of my national championship is that uh, after my father passing away, right within those few days, I went back, won the national medal in his honor. Yeah.
Wow. Also regarding, we're talking about your father's death. So, how did you actually overcome that? I mean, especially during that particular time, it's hard to focus, right? Because there's already a
Yeah.
death going on. And then you told it took your dad started supporting you from 2006. So, before 2006, it would have been, you must have always longed for your father's support, right? Even though your mother have supported you. And after 2006, I mean, and he started supporting you and all of that, I'm pretty sure you must have longed more of his support. And how did you actually handle that entire pressure during that tournament?
So I would say, see, to be very open, my father stepped in at the right time. He stepped in when I was the fastest Indian kind of a period, or I'm going to get the fastest Indian period. He stepped out when I had to go to the international level. So if my father would have stepped up early, I wouldn't know the value of him also at that point of the time. For the district, state, national, it was really not really financial, nothing much. But when he stepped up at the international phase, that is when the money was required, the proper training was required, the proper, I would say the proper planning was required. So he stepped in late, but I would say at the right time. I would say rather than two people pressure, one person's support is always good. So I had one person, my mom, supporting the initial training phase and going to the training and traveling. Then came my father for all the international things. But he was a busy man too, he was building his own empire. By 2006, he acquired more than 1,000 acres for Gum Ministries in Hyderabad, Sangareddy. So he was supporting more. In his whole lifetime, I would say he supported about 20,000 orphan kids.
Wow.
And 60,000 widows. He hosted at least about 30, 40 crusades, which were very big back in then. I remember Anil Kumar Anna coming to my dad's birthday celebration, remembrance of his celebration, and he said he was a torchbearer. He put Christians in the map that this is how we should do. We shouldn't do like the small scale. He was one of the persons who taught us, go big, go large. So I really liked it when Anil Kumar Anna came and he spoke so highly about my dad that he witnessed that, he saw that, and he was proud of my dad. And from somebody with that caliber coming and telling us that during remembrance of my dad, felt it's a big there's certain things, right? Money can't buy, or you can't tell somebody to tell you something. So what Anil Anna spoke about my dad that day, I will remember whole my life.
So you went to the US for training. You trained at Salt Lake City, USA. So how long did you stay there, and what did you do? Because end of the day, you need to also have some earnings, right? So
basically, in I think around 2012, when I got that 2010, when I got to know that roller speed skating was not making into the Olympics, then I realized that in India there's only one sport, which is cricket, and now it is badminton, I would say. And then the third category would be Olympic sport category itself. So that is when I realized I have to get into an Olympic sport, which is ice skating. Lot of roller skaters, including my coach Derek Para, he was a world champion in roller skating. Then he shifted to ice skating.
Okay.
Same thing comes with Chad Hedrick. He's also a roller skater. He shifted to ice and won Olympic medals. Both are from United States. So the transition was very easy for them. So for a guy who came from India, for him to transition, the first step is to travel 13,000 kilometers. So that's when I did my research. I spoke to Coach Derek. I said, I'm interested to come and train and stuff. So the challenge was, how will you get an invitation letter from them? They usually don't send any invites. You have to apply, and that is how you get the invitation. So I got to know that there's a sports visa and you have to apply, and that's how you can go to the United States. So again, I did a little bit research that you have to get a lawyer who is going to apply on your behalf. It is more like an H1 visa process, so that the lawyer will represent me and he will send an application. And with that application, you go and apply for the visa. So I got the visa. I moved to the US. So when I met my coach was surprised. There are a lot of people. We get hundreds of emails from people around the world that they would come and train with us. Very few people show up. And especially when you said you're from India, we didn't even expect you to come. So then when I came, he really helped me out because he's a Mexican American. So he always used to take care of international skaters and stuff like that. And he was my coach. He was kind of mentor. He was supporting me with everything, because roller skating is a different thing. Ice skating is a different thing. There are a lot of things which you have to know with ice skating, like sharpening the blades and a lot of other things, how to take care of your equipment and things like that, which I didn't know, which I didn't learn in India either. So when I came back, I could, really get his help. And, there are programs, there are multiple programs in the Utah Olympic Oval. The first program is Learn to Ice Skate. So that is 3 times a week for about 90 minutes. So my first, I think I would say 1.5 month, I had sessions of only 2 months. I had sessions of 8. I would say in 8 weeks, I had like 12 sessions or 13 sessions. So what would I do the rest of the, it was a very boring period because I moved from India. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to cook. I've never done laundry. I don't have any much friends in the US. I don't have any family in the US. So it was very hard. That's when I was talking to my coach, and my coach told me, you need to get a job. That is how you're going to keep yourself busy. So from Learn to Skate, I shifted to a club level where we were training 6 days a week. And that was about, I would say, again, 2 hours of training sessions a day. But what would I do in 24 hours of 2 hours? Then after 1.5 years later, I got into the FAST team. That is where the people who want to go to the Olympics, the international skaters and all, these are all based off selections. So I learned to ice skate in the US. I did the club level. Then I did the advanced club level. Then I came to the FAST team. In the FAST team, I could train 8 hours a day. How much ever I was craving for more training, it would only happen through your times. You have to get that fast so that you will be trained under these guys. So when I got into the FAST team, it was very good because it was more of the same people who are trying to train for, Olympics or trying to get into the US national team and things like that. So, but, the hardest part was, everybody is different. Everybody, as I said, the room filled with the 30, 40 skaters were filled with the same dream, same passion that we want to beat each other or, win for our country. And I had one guy, John Sullivan, who was really helpful in this journey. He was an American, black American. He really helped me out. A little bit of socializing, little bit of, taking me out, helping me with the nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat. He was like a brother to me he was competing with me. But regardless, he was there supporting me. There was a period of time when my car crashed and, he picked me up for training. He used to drop me back from training and things like that. So really had that one person, few people who really helped me in the training phase.
Yeah. In one of your testimonies at a public gathering, you told that you worked also as a driver, right?
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah. So basically, see, again, I said about John, right? So John signed up for Uber at that point of the time. So Uber in United States was trying to get into the smaller towns, not like Los Angeles or New York. There they didn't have problem. Now they introduced this program called, you do 30 rides, you get $1,000. So the person who does 30 rides get a sign up bonus, and the person who enrolled him also gets $1,000.
Okay.
So now John was doing it, and John was like, Stephen, why don't you do it? I said, man, I really can't do this, He said, Stephen, $1,000. And guess what? In the $1,000 which I'm getting, I'll give you $500 also.
Oh, wow.
So now he doubled it pretty much, and he said, $1,500, you will earn it in a week. So it was very tempting, and I really needed the money also at that point of the time. Then I signed up for it. I did these 30 rides. and I got those $1,500, and I kind of quit after that. But the reason why I would really say is like there was a testing phase in my life. In the US, even to go to the US, I sold my car. I wanted to be very deep, independent. I didn't want to put a struggle on my mom because she was single parent. Both my brothers were just studying then at that point of the time. So I came to the US, from a nice car. I got a very old car in the US. It's a 94 Honda Accord. And from there, I bought a car for the Uber driving and stuff like that. But God always used to tell me, Stephen, I'll bless you with good cars. I used to be like, God, but the story which is happening, it's
It
going
doesn't look like
downfall.
that, yeah.
It's going all the way down and down. But now I drive one of those best
Yeah.
cars. Like I have a BMW, I have a Range Rover,
Defender.
Defender. So I had a Harley Davidson. So what God promised me about 10 years back, it took time to shape, but it was coming in the same direction. When what I feel is, a lot of as Christians, there's always a voice which is talking to you. Some people may make fun of it, but there's always that leading of spirit, the leading of word, the leading of God also. That there was recently I went to one of these meetings, and there was a young person who came to me and he said, in a very confident way, he comes to me and he says, what should I do to have a Defender? That is a straight question. I said, are you willing to be an Uber driver? He said, no, I won't be. Then I said, see, life is all about taking those opportunities. If you're saying to an opportunity, then you won't go where you're supposed to go. So always never say no to an opportunity, especially when you're going through a tough times. I won't say, when you're not going through a tough times, don't say yes to this or no to this. But, it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
There was I needed the money. There was a chance to be an Uber driver. I could say no and not take the opportunity, but I said yes and I took the opportunity.
Yeah.
Today, people see me, the car, the success, the lavishness and everything, but my story is way beyond. I worked as a server in a restaurant for 6 weeks. These two things were a very short period. I worked as a customer representative for a store called Dillard's. I did that for almost 4 years. But these two were part-time jobs, but they taught me a lot of things. The real jobs where I was making money didn't teach me a lot of things. But these part-time jobs as a server and stuff like that. I was newly married and I used to walk into restaurants and I used to tip like 500 rupees. My wife used to turn around and she used to be like, you can't tip 500 rupees to a server. For longest time, I didn't tell her that I worked as a server in a restaurant. But after like 1.5, 2 years of waiting, I told her, there came a point where I had to tell her that, when I worked as a server, I always remembered who tipped me the most. And it used to bring a smile to my face. So because I went through that, I tip a little bit more than usual. It's because I went through that phase to just bring a smile. Even when I take a Uber driver, I give that because it's like I did
But
that.
why do you take a Uber driver? You have 3 cars.
See again. See.
No, that was just a joke. No, I was just...
One is a family car.
Yeah.
One is a family car. One my wife and my mother share, and one is my car. So when my car goes to like a servicing for
Okay.
2-3 days, then
Okay.
there will be days. There will be days I will take an Uber for some days maybe to go into the airport also.
Okay.
Because if something is more important, right? When your family needs something, I just try to take an Uber. There's nothing wrong in it,
So I want to talk a little bit about the Uber phase.
Okay.
So we have this rating thing, right, in
Correct.
Uber. So did you have that time, the rating part, and also what was your rating? Can you tell me one of the craziest experience?
So, the craziest experience, I'll tell you,
Like
the ratings.
no, not exactly about the rating, like any person, the person whom you drove and like that particular
So
story.
there was this person, he came from California. I picked him up from the airport, and it was raining that day, and I was using Google Maps, and I missed the one exit, I missed the second exit, I missed the third exit, and now I'm like, how do I tell this person? You know, it was one of my second ride or third ride.
Oh.
I was very tense. I didn't know how to do this thing. But this guy, you know, was asking me, it's okay. You know, he was making me feel very comfortable. He was saying, no, it's okay. You can take the next exit. And I went a very long drive. His trip was short. Just by missing that exit, I would have gone excess of like 10 kilometers or something. But Uber is going to charge you through the miles,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not through the destination, just because I took a longer route. He was charged more. And at the end of the trip, he tipped me a little bit and
Oh,
made me
wow.
feel comfortable. So, you know, there are times when, when you're wrong, people try to put it on your face, rub it on your face. But those things are what, when I see in other countries, that is when they stand up for you, right? You know, so those kind of things are very important, what I learned. You know, in success, everybody is there. In failure, you really need support.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody is going through a financial problem, that is when a person needs help. Not when he has crores of money and, you go and give them like expensive gifts. Doesn't really, matters to. People have to learn when to step up.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when we used to get less marks. My mom used to make chicken biryani that point of the time. Like literally to cheer us up. Okay, that phase is over. Dust it off and try to get good marks in the next exam. So that kind of mindset is, I feel today is lacking. And especially when you see in abroad, right? There's a lot of difference how they treat people. That is one thing I wish, we Indians would implement
Yeah.
and stand up for each other.
So, what was your rating, if you remember?
I seriously don't remember. I think it is more than 4 for sure.
Good.
But
Yes.
I seriously don't remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also you worked as a waiter,
Correct.
right? And so we are now going to talk about some secular things.
Okay.
So, you are also a businessman,
Correct.
and your brother is going to make a debut in Bollywood,
Yeah.
and your family is into ministry, right?
Correct.
Like 3 completely different dimensions, X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
going in 3 different directions. So, what is the backlash that you face, especially your family or your church members? And how do they come up with any weird stories like, don't be so money minded? What is the kind of challenges or criticism that you had to go through?
Actually, to be very open, so when my father passed away, right, we had a phase of 10 years where nobody came into our house.
Okay.
None of them. None of the pastors came. None of the orphans we helped showed up. None of the widows we supported helped us. Even the salary employed people also, nobody showed up. My dad was running a mega ministry. He has employed at least 300 people at that point of the time. His monthly checks would be about 3 crores. We're talking back. Because he had to feed about 3,000 kids, orphan kids, education, everything like those kind of things. So for 10 years, no judgment phase. So one thing what we noticed is dad was no more there. So, nobody really entertained us. So ఒక సేయింగ్ ఉంటుంది, ఏమంటుందంటే రాజుగారి ఇంట్లో రాజుగారి పుట్టినరోజు అంటే మొత్తం విలేజ్ అంతా వచ్చిందంట. రాజుగారు ఇంట్లో పెళ్ళి అంటే విలేజ్ అంతా వచ్చిందంట. రాజుగారు కుక్క చచ్చిపోతే విలేజ్ అంతా వచ్చిందంట. రాజుగారు చచ్చిపోతే ఎవరు రాలేదంట. ఎందుకు రాలేదంటే రాజే లేడు, ఇంకా రాజుతో పనేం లేదు అన్నట్లు. సో మా లైఫ్లో ఏమైపోయిందంటే డేవిడ్ రాజు గారు చనిపోయిన తర్వాత అసలు మాతో పనే లేదు అనుకున్న వాళ్ళు చాలా ఎక్కువ మంది అయిపోయారు. కానీ మా మదర్ ఏమనుకున్నారంటే ఒకటే అన్నారు మా మదర్, స్టీఫెన్, ఇట్స్ ఫైన్. My priority right now is to raise this family, not to make people happy. The bread owner is no more there. Now it is my responsibility to be a mother to this family, to also be a father to this family.
Yeah.
So she clearly kept the goal straight. Solomon, you're going to finish your engineering. Matthew, you're going to finish your BBA. Stephen, you're going to do your skating part, the Olympic journey. So she stood up so strong, and good we didn't have people. There was no judgment. There was nobody trying to criticize us. We were trying to lift each other up. And now again, we're doing good for
Yeah.
ourselves. But again, I would see, I always believed people left or people didn't talk to us because we didn't say hi to them. Maybe if you would have said hi, they would have said, "How are you?"
Hmm.
So that kind of phase came into my thing, and I said, వాళ్ళు పిలవకపోతే మనం పిలుద్దాం,
Very
వాళ్ళు
true.
రమ్మనకపోతే మనం రమ్మందాం.
Many
మహా
don't
అంటే
do that,
ఒక్కసారి కదా, ఏమవుతుంది, వాట్ ఆర్ వి లూజింగ్. దెన్ ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ బిల్డింగ్ మై ఓన్ ఎంపైర్. My dad had an empire. The empire was dismantled. I started building my own circle. And here, if you see, who really helped us is non-secular people. Christians not really helped us, Andy. For those 10 years, I'm saying you. మా పక్కింటి వాళ్ళు రాజులు, ఓకే, దే ఆర్ హిందూస్. దే యూస్ టు కమ్ టు అవర్ హౌస్ అండ్ దే యూస్ టు సే, మీ దేవుడు చాలా గొప్పవాడు, మీ దేవుడు మీకు అన్యాయం చేయడు, మీ దేవుడు మీ కష్టాలను తీసేస్తాడు. A non-believer is talking faith words to us. A non-believer is trying to help us. All my wedding, నా వెడ్డింగ్ వర్క్ అండి, నా వెడ్డింగ్ I had 9 groomsmen. In 9 groomsmen, there are 2 Christians, rest 7 were 2 Punjabi, Sikhs, 1 Muslim, 1 Brahmin, and 1 Marwadi, 1 Sindhi. So, again, what we have to realize here is we are forgetting to be humans. Versus other faith people are being a lot more human. They are having a lot more humanity. If you see, Christians means humanity, right?
Yeah.
Service. Versus now, other religions have accepted being humanity, helping others, serving others. Nobody, none of my friends, none of my partners judge me by my religion, judge me by my faith. They all respect my religion, my faith. I respect their religion and their faith. And in fact, if Stephen is standing today in this interview, they played a very vital role. They really helped me. They said, Stephen, तू बड़ा बनेगा, ज़रूर बनेगा. आज नहीं, कल नहीं, 100% तो बनेगा. Just don't lose your hope in this process. So, especially, that is when, right, again, I said earlier also, you need help when you're weak.
Yeah.
You need support, or when you need support when nobody is supporting you. That is when my friends, like I would like, if God gave me the biggest gift apart from my family is my friends. They've always helped me. They've always supported me. They've always cheered me up. Even today, I wait for their call, and we meet every day. And how much ever busy I'm with work or whatever I'm doing, I meet them 5 days a week, and they are my stress bursters completely. How much stuff I'm going through, my work, my legal cases, my businesses and everything. Those hours I spend them with them completely resets my day.
Yeah. So you're also into the real estate, right? So when did this start and where did this origin from? Like, this is completely different than sports.
Correct. So basically, 2018, right, when I moved back to India, my mother was behind my back to get a job. She said, Stephen, it's time for you to start working. So 2018 to 19, she gave me 1 year of grace period. She said, do whatever you want to do or do nothing. Just figure out if you want to be in India or go back to the US. So that is when I've decided, I will just have fun. 1 year time is there. I'll figure out, worst case, I'll go back to the US. So in 2019, again, my mom, wake up call. She said, boss, your time is up. You have to start working. I said, with the qualification, I just have a bachelor's in mass communication and journalism.
Where did you do that?
I did it in St. Mary's,
Okay.
Yusuf Kuda. So I said, with this, nobody's going to give me a job. Then I met this person called Mr. Akash. I call him Akash Anna. He's the director for Phoenix Group. And so he met me at a function. He said, Stephen, what are you doing these days? I said, I'm doing nothing, Anna. Then he said, why don't you join our company? Actually, no. He said something like, let us know if we can help you with something. Then I texted him, Anna, I really need a job. Then he said, yeah, sure, we'll hire you and stuff like that. So I worked with this company for 2.5 years. I woke up at 8:30 in the morning, was working till 6 p.m. and stuff. I really learned a lot from this company. It's a real estate company. They do massive projects.
So you were one of the employees?
Yes, I was one of the employees. I was working in CRM department. At that point of the time, they're building this app called Converse.
Okay.
It's a very similar to MyGate, but it was more for the IT sector. How does an IT employee enter the
corporate sector?
The corporate
right?
sector, from his vehicle to entry to everything. So those 2 years I was working in this app where they had about 32,000 employees. We were trying to have a hassle-free entry, hassle-free exit. If they want to order something, if they want to get a cab, everything, from the companies to having a bulk upload to get the employees for, like job opportunities and everything like that. So it is pretty much before Corona phase, we were working on a touch-free entry to all these IT campuses and stuff like that. That is where I learned work. If I would say, like what is the turning point in my life is working for this company and, learning work from them, though I'm not that qualified for that job, but Akash Anna believed in me and he gave me that opportunity to, to work in his company. So that really changed my perspective. And then my friends gave me these opportunities to come out and explore more opportunity in real estate and stuff like that. I was always like an investor mainly. I was never running the show and stuff like that. But I got to learn a lot from that thing and I started my own thing. And then I'm into also, we are building a resort in Shankarpalli now. And we are planning to bring a sports school, one of a kind in Hyderabad. So where you'll have a cricket stadium, where you'll have a basketball stadium, badminton stadium, skating stadium. You'll have like multiple sports in this facility. So we are trying to combine education and sports together. My wife Akshita she's into education. She loves education. She has about 6 degrees in education.
Wow.
So that is where I got this passionate idea of trying to set up a school with sports. Seeing her passion towards education, I thought a school. But again, seeing my passion towards sports, I thought, why can't we mix both and bring a solution to this?
May I know what is your business?
So we do plotting. So towards Sangareddy, towards Moinabad, towards Zaherabad, we've done multiple ventures. Now we're going to do a project in Sangareddy. And so it's a residential plot. You take an agricultural land, you convert into plotting, where housing plots basically. We're going to develop the area. We're going to build a clubhouse. We're going to do minimum amenities. There are another 3 partners we have. So one brings expertise of expertise of selling the venture. One comes in implementing the venture. One comes in identifying the venture possibilities and stuff. So my phase comes in the beginning, in fact. So seeing the project, getting the land, getting the investors, getting the coordination done with the agreements and things like that. I take care of that phase and a little bit of selling, but not much to my good NRI clients and stuff. But usually we have another partner who has about 300 employees into marketing. So he pretty much takes care of the marketing, sales and everything.
So the partners in your business are non-believers.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
But then we also heard people saying that it's always good to have believers as your partners, those who are rooted in the Lord, because end of the day, you're running a business and you would want to partner people with the same faith. What is your opinion on it? Does it play any role at all?
I really don't believe that. See, it is good to have if you have. I didn't have 9 people as groomsmen, Christians who could be my
How was
groomsmen.
people's reaction to that?
Like, I think, see, I'm not really worried about
What others think.
what others think, and to be very open, because they're not going to fill my pockets, they're not going to fill my stomach, they're not going to help my family rise or something. One is that, see, faith is very important.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny it. Faithful people are very important. I'm not going to deny it. Doing ministry is very important. Doing service is very important. Helping is very important. And again, faithful partners of the same faith, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe, because, see, again, at the end of the day,
Loyalty matters.
loyalty matters. And see, you may start 3 businesses. One may completely, if something is very oriented to Christians, then having a Christian
Yeah.
faith people and stuff like that is very important. But if something is very oriented to the public, it really doesn't matter, Andy. Like, see, Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu was a Christian,
Yeah.
but he was helping the people. Again comes Chandrababu Naidu Garu now. He's a Hindu. He's serving everybody, right? So politics, business are two different things, but they serve the people, right?
Yeah.
So it is not for one community, one religion, or one secular thing is what I believe. Leaders are for everybody. Business people have to sell their properties or whatever things to everybody.
Makes
I do
sense.
respect a lot of people who are into ministry. If you ask me what is the biggest honor, is to serve people 100%. Being a pastor is a full-time job. I have a lot of respect and dignity. My parents always told me, respect pastors. They receive you're supposed to respect them at the highest level, and even today I respect them at the highest level possible. But again, business comes again, you're serving everybody, you're catering to everybody. If he's channelizing something so towards Christianity, then having more of your Christian circle matters. But if you're channelizing to the whole community of other faiths,
Yeah.
then it is not. And again, see, my friends, I know them for last 20 years. I am 32, but I know them for more than 20 years or so. So, there is recently my friend sent me a reel which says something about, find a friend who's a business partner, you will never feel work as work, it will never feel stress. And, how it will be more comfortable to do anything,
Your brother is going to make a debut in Bollywood, right? And I have a couple of my friends who work in film industry too, and they're believers. But then the way they get looked at as if, they are pseudo-Christians, they're not the same inside out. Because you're end of the day working in Bollywood, Tollywood, where there are a lot of compromises or the ethics are compromised, right? So what is your take on it?
So, to be very open again, as we were discussing about friends and everything, right? So, my brother has a friend who he knows him for more than 20 years almost. So, he was into films. He was a director kind of a thing. He had a script. He didn't have anybody to pitch or something like that. He pitched it to my brother. My brother, being a great friend to his friend, he said, I will invest in your movie. It never started off with like my brother passionate about movies or something like that. His friend had he believed that his friend had a talent of movies and everything, and he started off as a producer. He's a producer now. So what you're saying, I totally get it. But again, నేనేమంటానంటే అండి, కొన్నిసార్లు దేవుడే కొన్ని మీతో చేయిస్తాడు. కొన్ని మీరు నన్ను అడగండి, ఊబర్ డ్రైవర్ చేయడం అంటే నాకు ఇష్టం ఉంటుందా? చెప్పుకోవడం అంటే ఇష్టం ఉంటుందా? రేంజ్ రోవర్ కారులో తిరిగేవాడు ఎవ్వరూ చెప్పుకోరు నేను ఊబర్ డ్రైవర్గా చేశానని. నేను చెప్పుకుంటా, ఎందుకంటే అది కూడా నా దేవుడే చేయించాడు నాతో, ఇది కూడా దేవుడే నాతో చేయించాడని. మూవీస్ అన్నది కూడా అగైన్, ఇఫ్ గాడ్ గివ్స్ యూ, మన ఇండియాలోనే ఇదంతా. మళ్ళీ అమెరికాలో మీరు ఒక డైరెక్టర్ అంటే మీరు రోడ్డు మీద కనబడితే మీరు ఫోటోలు దిగుతారు. మీకు అర్థమైందా? మీకు రాజమౌళి కనబడితే మనం ఫోటోలు దిగుతాం. రాజమౌళి గారు తెలియని వాళ్ళు ఉండరు. ఐ స్టడీడ్ విత్ రాజమౌళి గారు సన్ కార్తికేయ. సో దేవుడు నన్ను, ఐ ఫీల్ ఐఎమ్ ఆల్వేస్ విత్ దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సర్కిల్, విత్ ద ఫిలిం సర్కిల్. వన్ ఆఫ్ మై బిజినెస్ పార్ట్నర్ ఇస్ ఇన్ టు ఫిలిమ్స్. సో సాయి శ్రీనివాస్ బెల్లంకొండ. సో he is the one who made me get into this resort project also. I was nowhere connected to getting into the partnership also. He had a land, somebody wanted to build, but he brought me and he said, Stephen, no, I want you to be a partner. I want you to journey with me. So, in businesses, opportunities knocks your door. Films are anta bad kaadandi. In today's world, it is changing, evolving.
Yes, yeah.
Every side has a bad and good. But I feel my brother is a very passionate producer. If you ask me, will he stop making films? I don't think. The last he told me, I want to make 100 movies.
Okay.
So he's going to make a lot of movies, and yeah, he's going to make the one which he's making is also a little bit faith oriented also. It has a little bit of a Slumdog Millionaire shade to it.
Oh.
So the thing is, we need to bring it internationally to India. We can't take it from India to internationally. We have a plans of launching it from the Hollywood side, so that how like how Slumdog Millionaire was,
Yeah.
nobody knew in India until it won the Oscars. So the thing is, the same thing is going to happen with this movie also. We want to have an Hollywood production, bring it to India.
Wow.
Yeah, so
If anybody has amazing scripts, you can talk to Stephen Killari's brother. Yeah.
Matthew Killari.
Just drop in a message on Instagram. You never know, he might like your script. Yeah. So you transition from different kinds. You've done different kinds of skating, like ice skating, roller skating, speed skating.
Yeah.
So can you just give us a quick insight into all these three? Like, how are they different? If there is anybody who wants to pursue that
Correct,
career,
correct.
right? And where did you get this inspiration from? And also, you told that you did a lot of homework,
Yeah.
right?
So I started off with a quad skates. That's the basic skates where you can buy it from any sports shop. Then comes the inline skates. Inline skates are a little expensive kind of a thing. They're a little faster also. Quads is not considered to be that big sport because you don't have world championship, Asian championship, international competitions. So it starts and ends in national level only, pretty much. So if you want to represent India, you have to get into inline skating. That is how I got into inline skating and things like that. And then comes ice skating. Ice skating is a very big picture completely because the facilities in India are very basic. If you really want to be an inline ice skater, I would suggest achieve as much as you can in inline skating. I've represented India in World Championship, Asian Championship, International Championships, Beach Asian Games. I was the best in class for roller skating. I was the fastest Indian on roller skates. I held a record in 200 meters. I held a record in 300 meters, which was broken later phase. But again, to be an ice skater, I personally believe you have to be a good roller skater, especially for Indians. You can't completely start off ice skating from the beginning. I would say transition from a roller skating to ice skating will really impact your sporting career. And ice skating again, it requires a complete commitment. Traveling to abroad, staying there, it's an expensive procedure. Also taking flights, taking hotels, taking the training. The training is expensive, and you have to do it. Just imagine. Me being Stephen, if I train 300 days versus somebody training 30 days, there's not going to be a difference. The 300 days who's training on ice is definitely going to win.
Yeah.
You can have a short period of time of ice and everything, training and everything, but you have to give that amount of time. When I shifted to the US, I was there 6 years. From day one to 6 years, I was continuously there training for this thing. It requires a complete commitment of 10 months a year. You have a 45 days of break where you can go back home or do whatever you want to do. But you need a complete commitment if you have to do ice skating. Roller skating is good, fun, excellent, but ice skating requires the commitment. Roller skating didn't make it to the Olympics, so that's the reason I shifted to ice. But there is a small sector of roller skating which made it to Olympics, which is called skateboarding.
Okay.
So that is in roller skating. Again, there are multiple sports. And there's roller skating, there's artistic skating, roller hockey.
Wow.
So there are about 6-7 sports in there. My sport didn't make it to the Olympics. Coming back to ice skating, ice has multiple sports which are into Olympics.
So when you're doing ice skating,
Yeah.
does the ice break or crack?
Actually, the blade is very sharp, and blade is like a knife. It glides through the ice. The water becomes ice, and you glide on the ice. But again, there are times you can crack the ice also. The ice is very thin. The thicker the ice is, the slower you go.
Oh.
So it has to be very thin for you to go very fast. So it's a very fragile kind of a thing. Your blades are sharp, the ice is thin, so you can't really chip it. If you chip it, then you're going to fall down. So you are supposed to glide on the ice, that efficiency you require. And the ice blade is also like 2 mm or something. It's very thin. It's literally like a knife. So with the knife balancing on it and hitting about like 60 kilometers speed, that is where the challenge comes. And then you have to turn also at a very higher level. So you will be hitting 65, 67 kilometers per hour kind of speed also. So it requires a lot of concentration, practice, hard work, technique, equipment. All these things matters, and this combination makes it the result what you're looking at.
Wow. So that means your weight also plays a very important role.
So again, it is not the weight, but the pressure. The pressure you're using on the skate really matters. I've seen 6 feet tall. The Netherlands guys, they're massive, but they handle it such a way that they can balance it. Again, it's all technical. How you are gliding on the ice, how you are pushing the skates and things like that. Weight, of course, you have to be fit and things like that. But I've seen a lot of people like who are way muscular and they've won. Skinny people have won. Like mediocre, hefty people have also won for distance and stuff like that. But you have to be fit. There's a difference between being fit and being hefty. If you compare Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli looks very fit.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma looks a little not fit, but he performs. He's a smasher, Coming back to MS Dhoni Garu, again, he doesn't look like a crazy fit person, but he is fit. Virat Kohli looks a
Very
lot
fit,
fitter
yeah.
and stuff like that. Again, he did a kind of dieting and everything. Everybody is, again, personal kind of a thing. But, you have to really channelize that. Nothing as an athlete life, nothing really determines. Your discipline determines, not how you look, how much you weigh, how much are you short or are you tall. The 2002 Olympic gold medalist, my coach is about, I think, 5'4", 5'5". He is a little shorter to the people he has competed, but he's the fastest in the world. Virat Kohli has a different fitness. Rohit Sharma has a different fitness. Yuvraj Singh has a different fitness. MS Dhoni Garu has a different person. If you go actually talk to them, Goda, they have a different routine. Somebody eats something else for breakfast. Somebody has something else for breakfast. Somebody likes having something before a big tournament. They want to have this sunny. Alaga different perspectives untai. So one can't really determine this is the standard is what I believe in Mata. So that is what I feel, Mata.
What are the sacrifices that you made in terms of, are you a foodie?
I am a big time foodie.
So any sacrifices that you made in terms of food choices?
For 18 years, I would say in my skating journey, having a thumbs up was a cheat meal. Having a chips packet was a cheat meal. Having pani puri or whatever is a cheat meal, Mata. That would come like maybe I would say 3 months koksari, 6 months koksari. But for 18 years, I had like proper clean food. And again, healthy food, protein is considered to be the 50% of our diet every day. 25% comes the greeny vegetables and everything. 25% comes carbs. It is very simplified diet for me. Was always every meal what I had always had 50% protein, 25% carbs, 25% was greens like salads or something like that. So if you ask me, wake me up and say what would your diet be, would be like this smarta. So that was over the years. If you ask me, for the most of the time, for almost in this 6 years, my breakfast was the same thing for 6 years. I had a oatmeal in the morning. One day I would have cranberries, one day I would have banana, one day apple, one day topping would change, but the base was the same thing. What would I eat after my training was eggs and mushroom and spinach. The same thing. All athletes have a same constant thing which they do regularly. It is kind of boring, it is kind of challenging, but again, grilled chicken.
You'll have to do it.
You have to do it. Grilled chicken for dinner or some meat for dinner, kind of a thing. Food is good, but food is not like spicy or overly tasty or something. The problem with our food is whatever tasty is not healthy, and whatever is not tasty is healthy.
Healthy.
And the problem is when it's tasty, you tend to eat more. You want to eat more. That is where the problem comes. And whatever is not tasty, you don't eat that much also. So that is the thing, basic thing, Mata. But if you're an athlete, you need that discipline.
Discipline.
But if you're not an athlete, I would say stay fit, stay healthy, don't restrict yourself. But if you work out 1 hour a day, I feel you will have the freedom to eat whatever you want to eat. But again, when your health is saying something, listen to it. When you're having vomitings or when you're having sleepy illness or tiredness, then get a doctor, get this whatever checked and things like that, and do what it requires to do over a period of time.
You've also been in the top 5 of American Cup.
Yeah.
But your journey has not been directly in the top 5.
Correct.
You've risen from top 45 and exponentially grew to the further ranks. So it was not like top 45 and straight top 5, right?
Correct.
So can you also explain us about that journey?
So the best part is when I went to the US, right? Nobody took me that seriously because I was from India. I was a skater who has never seen ice. I was feeling cold. What Indians?
Oh yeah, how did you even manage?
So the biggest struggle was not to fight with your teammates. The first battle was to fight the cold. Indians, we from Hyderabad, we can't fight the battle of cold that much. So being on the ice arena for 4 hours a day would really challenge me. And I have an asthma issue also.
Oh.
So I had this condition called aerobic asthma or something like that. So basically that requires you to have an inhaler which helps you to breathe more efficiently. So what happens is in this aerobic condition you forget to breathe, but you don't faint or something, you just give up easily.
Okay.
So that was the condition for me. So my biggest problem was adjusting to the climate. I used to wear thermals. People used to make fun of me and all these things. I used to shiver and all these things happened in the first year of phase. I think my first American Cup, I finished around 50th or something. My second was about 40 or 39th or something. My third year was about 25, 26. My fourth year, I finished 10th. By then, people knew this guy is for business. He's not here to make fun or time pass or kill time. This guy is talking seriously now. By then, I've broken the national record 20 times. So people realized over the years, first when I broke the national record, oh, this is not even a national record kind of a thing. But by the journey of 4 years where I reached, people really, started to take me seriously, started to really see my passion, my drive and everything. But it was always, coaches were always good. Coaches were always very good, very helpful. And when I finished 5th, the first 2-3 were already Olympians and Olympic medalists and stuff like that. So that is when they really saw me like a serious...
By then, did you qualify for the trial?
No idea. I think after that,
Okay.
I qualified in Canada.
Okay.
That is where I did my times and stuff. So that is where I qualified my time. I was traveling to US, Canada, because US had the fastest ice and Canada also had the fastest ice. So you need the fastest times again to qualify. Yeah. So I was traveling to Canada and US. I think out of my 3 national records, 2 were in US and 1 was in, one national record was in the US, 2 were in Canada. So that is the thing. So when I qualified by getting the 1500 meters times, which made me qualify for a mass start event, which was still not my best event. I was a sprinter. My best event was 500 meters and 1000 meters. But, for 4.5 years, 5 years, I walked into the Olympic Oval every day. there is about 22 flags, and I always used to ask them, why is there no Indian flag? They said there's no Indian ever qualified. That is the reason we don't have an Indian flag. So today, now, all my hard work, when I was going to the Olympic trials, that day when I saw the Indian flag up there, I felt very happy, like the whole journey of 18 years had a meaning.
Yeah.
Some people may think, what does it make, in a foreign land, having an Indian flag, because of you, it really matters. Nobody opened the doors for me to go and do
Yeah.
it. I did the hard work, I did the commitment and everything. But there's one organization which really helped me called FISA.
Okay.
It is called Friends of Indian Speed Skating Athletes, which was formed for me to support me. It was an
Oh.
organization which never came into existence before me. So when I came, they saw my vision, they saw my hard work and everything. They really played a crucial role. If you ask me if government supported me, government didn't support me. If you ask me, my ice skating federation supported me, which was a very minimistic, I would say, sending out the letters, sending out emails to the federations and things like that. What FISA has done was tremendous. They really helped me out. There was a period, I think, right 1 year before going to the Olympics and stuff like that. They told me to quit my job. They told me to just focus on my training and everything. They've paid every bill I had for almost 3.5 years. They played a very crucial role in my skating journey.
Is that organization still there?
No, that's what I was saying. Like, it was formed for
Oh,
me,
so
by
that,
me and stuff.
yeah. I
So-
thought maybe after you left, maybe they have supported somebody else.
So the thing is, somebody asked them, that what would FISA do next, but they were very clear. They've formed it for me and to me, but they have given a hint. Whoever is going to break Stephen's national record,
Oh.
we will maybe reactivate it. But until then, this was formed genuinely for me and stuff.
So nobody did it yet.
Nobody did it. You can
Wow.
you can Google now.
No, don't have
It
to.
says-
Wow,
it
that's
says,
amazing.
If list of Indian national records, I still hold the national record for 500,000 and 1500 meters. It was done around 2016 to 2017. There's one record, I think, 2016. The rest are 2017. So even the last season, while I was giving up the sport, I gave up the sport with the fastest timing. So from day one of skating to 6 years of skating, the day I was stepping out, I still had a national record.
Okay.
So right then and there, like the fresh. So what I would like to tell about my journey was, I broke 30 times national record. One, I always kept improving. So usually in speed skating, you will see a lot of people stagnate for 2-3 years. That wasn't the case for me. Even people being stagnant come back and do a world record or a national record. So I was never stagnant. I was always making improving. I had 4 years left, but as one thing for sure, I had some time restrictions. I wanted to be in the sport for 18 years. I wanted to get a job. I wanted to get married. All these things were
But
always...
you were at your peak when you quit, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
how did it feel? Did you have any regret?
No, not really. Even today when I wake up, I don't have any regret. I gave it all. And
Maybe if you continued, you could have actually,
so
one-
again, life, I believe, is like a cycle. You have to do certain things at certain time. I always wanted to retire at 28. I always wanted to figure out what I want to do, because skating, I was not making money. There are certain things where, you don't make money, you make name or a fame kind of a thing. So I was making name and fame. I was making records and breaking records and stuff like that. I had few good people supporting me, but I was not financially strong to continue for another 4 years and figure out what I'm going to do.
End of the day, money is important, very important.
Don't take money lightly.
Yeah.
It may be there now, but when you really want it, it may not be there. So
Yeah.
give it the value it requires. Money is not everything, but money can help you do a lot of things. and it's very important, even to run a family,
Yeah.
to support ministry, to run businesses, to employ people. Lot of things money is
You
required.
need money, yes.
Yeah, so I never take money as a granted thing, because they say kada empty pockets teach you a lot of things.
Yes.
There were a lot of times where I had empty pockets, and good people helped me, good people supported me and things like that. If not, I wouldn't be here today.
So all these cars, like 3 cars that you have.
2
right?
cars.
Okay, fine. They're very expensive cars,
Correct.
right? Like some people even take pictures when those cars
Correct.
go, and if they are parked, people will go take
Yeah.
pictures of them. So these are the result of your business, not the sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've not, I would say, I didn't make like any,
Yeah.
not even 10% of what I have put in the sport,
Yeah.
from the sport.
Do you think it has a lot to do with how our country doesn't value these sports much? For they only value certain sports like cricket, and they don't pay much attention towards these sports or raising more people in that. Yeah.
So what I feel is every sport requires a business backup. When a sport doesn't have a business backup, it doesn't go to the place where it want to be. One is a business backup. One is what you say?
Government.
No, not the government. One would be a person who is bigger than the sport itself. Like example, badminton. You take badminton was never in picture
Yeah.
until Saina Nehwal
Yes.
won, or until PV Sindhu
Yes,
won. So
true.
they brought badminton to a level where the government is completely funding now. One thing. And again, there is always a person who changes the whole dynamics of sport. Example, Gopi Chand Garu never won an Olympic medal,
Yeah.
but he has reached to the highest point. But Gopi Chand Garu has contributed so
Yeah.
much that today badminton is known by Gopi Chand Garu. So that is when I have realized you have to be bigger than the sport, and you have to take an Olympic journey to
Then
make
the
this.
country-
Then the sport
then the
comes
sp-
into place.
yeah.
Then as I grew, that is when I realized lifting one sport will be very selfishness of me. Lifting multiple sports will be more appealing to the people. So that is when I realized the whole concept of sports school came into my mind, and that is when we're planning to execute it. So if I open just skating academy, it won't really change the dynamics completely, and you have to change it in the grassroots level. Because what you say, a person who takes up sport, does something right to the sport, he will change the whole dynamics. Like a politician from village becomes a politician, the village gets benefited.
Yes.
Same thing with the sports. That is what kind of atmosphere I want to bring for the kids and children at the grassroots level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during your sports journey, you also met with an accident.
Yeah.
Right. Can you also tell about that chapter of your journey?
So 2010 was a very tough year for me and for the family also, I would say. 2010 January, my father passed away. 2000 November was Asian Games or something I was competing for. And there was a championship, Open National Championship I went to. And I finished the race, but I got kind of misbalanced and hit the rod at the finishing line. After that, in the Mysore, I got admitted in the hospital, and they said, since I'm not a local guy, I have to fly down to Hyderabad and get a surgery done. So I shattered my right leg tibia. So it basically got into two pieces. Basically, the bone got into two pieces. So they had to put a rod in between the tibia and join both the bones. And so then again, the rest comes into picture. Dreaming to be going to Olympics, being a world champion, Asian champion, all these things have disappeared. My goal being the fastest Indian, I was the fastest Indian on skates then.
Yes.
From that to, it changed to walking, taking few steps, jogging, running, then came skating into picture. So it was a hell of a journey, and it was a lonely journey, I would say, because I was stuck in four walls. That's when the importance of family really came into picture. My mom, my brothers, really helped me, supported me in that tough phase. There were very few friends who showed up at my place because I couldn't go out anywhere. So I was in the house. So that journey was a very tough journey. lot of people criticized me.
Your doctors told not to get back, right?
Yeah, my doctor, every time I asked him, when I broke my leg, my doctor said, you can walk. You will, he always said, when can I skate? My question was, when can I skate? He said, you can walk, you can walk. I wouldn't say he criticized me or something, but he really didn't think I'm so strong in my head that he really didn't understand the what skating was for me at that point of the time. He always said I could walk, I could walk. So when I went back, I told him after that I went to a national championship again. My goal was if I win a national gold medal again, I will take the ice skating journey. If I don't win, then I'm not fit. So I trained, I did a rehab, I went to the US, I stayed for 6 weeks. I trained under my US coach called Jay Ingram. He was a US national team coach for roller skating. So I trained under him. He helped me in rehab. And then I came back and then I took the skating
Wow.
journey. But again, it was a lot of struggle, lot of criticism. People thought I would, breaking a leg will never make me normal again. But I've overcome all those
Yeah.
struggles. And in fact, before breaking leg, I did only 2 national records. After breaking leg, I did 32 national
Wow.
records. So, I feel, honored to God, because what seems impossible to man, but God can make things possible. And he did that in my life,
Yeah.
I thought for a second my life was over, my career was over. But what I did afterwards, after this journey, was something beyond than my imagination.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you are also going to start sports school, like you said, and which is also a combined idea of yours and your wife.
Yeah.
Right? So how did you meet your wife? When did you get married? And the entire story.
It's a very cinematic story, but
It's okay. There's too much of sports happening, so we want a little bit of this. Yeah.
So see, so when I told my mom, Mom, I'm ready to get married, start searching for me. It really shook her a little bit because both my brothers were a love marriage, and
Oh, yours was an arranged
mine is a
marriage?
proper arranged marriage. And fun fact is that when I got her profile, there was a kind of leading that that God was telling me she was the one. So when I got that, I was very upset with God. That how can you tell me that she's the one? I've not met her. I've not spoken to her. I don't know who she is. She may not like me.
Yeah.
Why did I get this hint or whatever? Then again, when I met her, I had full clarity that she's the one who I want to get married and stuff like that. My mom felt the same thing when we met her. She said, I think she's the one. Though, that, she was a single parent, I was a single parent. A lot of people felt that, maybe Stephen's father-in-law will come and help him and support him and lift him and things like that. But that was not the case. And I always felt her pain, my pain was the same pain. And she was raised by her mother. I was raised by a single mom.
parent.
Yeah, single parent. So she really, one thing what I really liked her is, like, there are certain things she was not used to it. But when she came to my house, she was very, she did it with a smile, just for the love for me and everything. She also didn't know how to cook.
Okay.
And she learned cooking for me. She cooks.
Do you guys stay in a joint family?
Yeah, we stay in a joint family. I stay with my brother and my mom and stuff. But we as a family are very united, very spiritual, very understanding also. My family helped me a lot when I was in the US. So I don't see otherwise, that I could do it all by myself or anything. Very supportive family, I would say.
There is a rumor that says that in your father's death, there was a third factor involved, and it was not.
Rumor annadem ledandi. Clear fact is that
That's a real.
yeah, that's a real thing. My father's own brother is involved in this. They had legal battles from 2006 onwards, and we have legal evidences also which proves that there are multiple cases which my father and my father brother were fighting from day one. In fact, my father ki threat undani cheppi he has complained in lot of police station and all these things.
So they were in a good
They were in good terms and they had differences because of that political issue ఒకటి వచ్చిండే. that certain politician గురించి. But my father was the one who was leading the whole organization. They were working on a simple understanding that he will deal with the all American thing, my dad will deal with the all Indian thing. That is understanding they had from
Okay.
day one. సో 100% ఆయన హ్యాండ్ ఉంది కాబట్టి పోలీసులు ఆయన అరెస్ట్ చేశారు. 92 రోజులు ఆయన జైలుకి వెళ్ళాడు. తర్వాత బెయిల్ మీద ఆయన బయటకు వచ్చాడు. ఆయన
ప్రూవ్ అయితే అవ్వలేదు కదా.
ఇదండి
డిడ్ ఇట్ గెట్
ప్రూవ్ అంటే ఎలాగుంటుంది అంటే అండి, జస్టిస్ విల్ టేక్ టైం. లీగల్ సిస్టమ్ నాకు తెలిసినంత వరకు ఎలా వర్కౌట్ అవుతుంది అంటే, ఒక తప్పు చేసిన వ్యక్తి టైం తీసుకుని తనకి ఆ ప్రాసెస్లో, ఇప్పుడు ఏ వ్యక్తి అయితే మా ఫాదర్ని చంపించాడో ఆ మనిషి ఇప్పటికీ కోర్టుకు వెళ్తాడు. దగ్గర దగ్గర 15 సంవత్సరాలు అయిపోయింది. హీ విల్ స్టిల్ గో టు ద కోర్ట్, హీ విల్ అటెండ్. కొన్నిసార్లు ఆయన బెయిల్ క్యాన్సిల్ అవుతుంది, పిటిషన్ పెట్టుకుంటాడు, ఇవన్నీ చేసుకుంటాడు, స్ట్రగుల్ అవుతాడు, అంతా అవుతుంది. 100% ఆయనే చేయించాడని మాకు డే 1 నుంచి తెలుసు. బట్ మా మదర్ ఏమన్నారంటే, స్టీఫెన్, యూ గ్రోయింగ్ అప్ యాజ్ అన్ అడల్ట్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ దెన్ గెటింగ్ ఇన్ టు దిస్ మెస్. నువ్వు కొడితే ఒక మనిషిని, తిడితే ఒక మనిషి ఒక్కరోజు గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటాడు. దేవుడు తిడితే కొడితే వాడి జీవితకాలం అంతా వాడికి గుర్తుంటుంది అన్నది ఒక్కటి మాకు ఒకటి. అండ్ సేమ్ థింగ్ ఆఫ్టర్ 2 years వీ హ్యాడ్ టు 2010 మా ఫాదర్ చనిపోతే 2012 ఆయన అరెస్ట్ చేశారు. అరెస్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఆయనకి ప్రజలకు తెలిసింది, కానీ మాకు తెలియకుండా ఉండదు కదా అండి. మేమేం బిజినెసెస్ ఏం చేయలే. మాకు ఒక్కటే లీగల్ ఇష్యూ ఇస్ బిట్వీన్ మై ఫాదర్ అండ్ మై ఫాదర్స్ బ్రదర్. అండ్ మా ఫాదర్ క్లియర్గా కంప్లైంట్స్ ఇచ్చిన ప్రూఫ్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ ఈవెన్ టుడే సీ ఎఫ్ఐఆర్ కాపీ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ కాపీ, క్లియర్గా అక్కడ రాసి ఉంటాయి ఇవన్నీ థింగ్స్. ఇప్పుడు తప్పు చేసినాడు ఎప్పుడు తప్పు చేశానని చెప్పుకోడు, వాడు కవర్ చేస్తుంటాడు. మీకు ఎవిడెన్సెస్ కావాలంటే నా దగ్గర ఉంటాయి ఎవిడెన్సెస్. మా మదర్ ఏమైనా క్వైట్గా ఉండు, దేవుడు చేస్తాడని చెప్పి. నాకు దేవుడు కూడా ఒకటే మాట చెప్పాడు. ఇది కయ్యూన్ ఏబెల్ స్టోరీ స్టీఫెన్. 1 person లవ్డ్ మీ, ద అదర్ పర్సన్ డింట్ సీ లవింగ్ మీ. సో అందుకు ఆ మనిషి బైబిల్లో మర్డర్ అయింది, ఫస్ట్ రికార్డెడ్ ఇస్ బిట్వీన్ బ్రదర్సే అయింది. ఇంకోటి మీరు చూసినట్లయితే బైబిల్లో దేవుడికి నచ్చిన వ్యక్తిని ఒకళ్ళు చంపేస్తే దేవుడు శిక్ష ఏం చేశాడు? చంపేయాలి కదండి. ఒక మనిషి దేవుడిని ప్రేమిస్తే ఆ మనిషిని వాళ్ళ సొంత బ్రదర్ చంపేస్తే దేవుడు తనని దేశ దిమ్మర్ని చేసేస్తాడు. అదే సేమ్ చాలామంది అనుకుంటారు, ఈయన కమేడియన్ అయిపోయాడు ఏంటండి, ఈయన ఇలాగ అయిపోయాడు ఏంటండి అని అనుకుంటారు. కానీ క్లియర్గా మీరు బైబిల్ని ఫాలో అయ్యి క్లియర్గా బైబిల్లో ఏం చేస్తుంటుందో, ఈవెన్ బైబిల్లో కూడా చాలామంది దేవుడు ఈ బ్రదర్ని క్షమించలేదు, క్లియర్గా రాసి ఉంటుంది. దేవుడు దేశదిమ్మర్ చేశాడు అన్నట్లు. గాడ్ స్పోక్ టు మీ అండ్ సెడ్ మీ దిస్ థింగ్ దట్ ఐ విల్ డూ దిస్ టు హిమ్. ఇఫ్ టుడే యూ ఆస్క్ మీ డూ ఐ ఫర్గివ్ హిమ్, yes, I forgive him because I follow a faith.
But it's not easy to forget.
It is not easy to forget because నా లైఫ్లో మా ఫాదర్ చనిపోయిన టైంలో 18 years అండి నా వయసు. దట్ ఈస్ వెన్ యూ నీడ్ అ ఫాదర్ కదా.
Yes.
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వెన్ డూ యూ నీడ్ అ ఫాదర్ ఇస్ వెన్ యూఆర్ టర్నింగ్ 18.
Yeah.
But again, spirituality is bigger than humanity. Spirituality is, ఈ బైబిల్లో రాసి ఉంటుంది కదా, ఇఫ్ యూ ఫర్గివ్ యువర్ హూ హ్యావ్ సిన్డ్ అగేన్స్ట్ యూ, యువర్ సిన్స్ విల్ బి forgiven. Yeah, and it took me 2 years to forgive that person who has did this. But after that, after forgiving him only, I got justice అనిపిస్తుంది. 2 years తర్వాత ఆయన అరెస్ట్ అవ్వడం, 92 రోజులు జైలుకి వెళ్ళడము. తర్వాత మై డాడ్ వాజ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు టెల్ పీపుల్, అరే వీడికి పిచ్చి వచ్చింది, మీరు నమ్మట్లేదు. నౌ పీపుల్ ఆర్ లైక్, అరే నిజంగా ఈయనకి పిచ్చి వచ్చింది అని అనుకుంటారు. సో మెనీ మీమ్స్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. బట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే ఒక్కటి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలండి, యాజ్ ఎ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ వీఆర్ నాట్ గ్రేటర్ దెన్ గాడ్. We are not greater than God. God is greater.
Yeah.
Once you get this in your head kada, that you are greater than God, God will definitely put you down where you belong. అదొక్కటి నేను నేర్చుకున్న ఈ స్టోరీ నుంచి. బైబిల్లో ఉంటుంది, when Jesus was entering Bethlehem in a donkey may feel, oh, the people are honoring me, people are giving me respect. It is not the respect for the donkey.
Yeah.
It is the respect for Jesus. Same thing happened. When lot of people think when we are honoring a servant of God, we are honoring servant of God, not the servant. But again, people have to remember that దేవుడే లేపాడు, దేవుడే పడేయగలడు. దట్ థింగ్ 100% మేము మా లైఫ్లో చూసాం. దేర్ ఆర్ డేస్ వీ హ్యావ్ ట్రావెల్డ్ ఇన్ హెలికాప్టర్స్. దెర్ ఇస్ అ డే వేర్ ఐ డ్రోవెన్ అన్ ఊబర్. టుడే ఐఎమ్ డ్రైవింగ్ అ రేంజ్
The
రోవర్.
helicopters were from.
We were leasing those helicopters for a point of time to come in, to transit
Yeah.
to here to there
Yeah.
and that.
So, ఇది కూడా I was doing a lot of research or
Yeah.
homework, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, another thing that I've read was those funds that your father was using to support orphans and
Yeah.
widows, right?
Hmm.
Those were being distributed by his brother only అని.
కాదండి, యాక్చువల్లీ ఇది వెరీ స్ట్రక్చర్డ్
అక్కడి
ఉంటుంది.
నుంచి ఆయన పంపించేవారు ఫండ్స్ అండ్
అలాగేం లేదండి. ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ ఎలాగుంటుందంటే, ఇప్పుడు మేము చేసిన ఇక్కడ సోషల్ యాక్టివిటీ వల్ల మాకు ఫండ్స్ వచ్చాయి. నెంబర్ 1, మాకు ఫండ్స్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు మేము అడిగేవాళ్ళం కాదు. మేము చేసే మంచి చూసి మీకు వస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మీరు చాలా సొసైటీస్లో సోషల్ వర్క్ చూస్తారు. సోషల్ వర్క్లో అయ్యేది 5 లక్షలు, మీరు ఇచ్చే 10,000తో సోషల్ వర్క్ అవ్వదు కదండి.
అవును.
మీకు అర్థమైందా?
Yes.
ఇప్పుడు మనము సీఎం రిలీఫ్ ఫండ్ అని వస్తుంటుంది, కొన్ని మంది డొనేట్ చేస్తుంటారు. పిఎం రిలీఫ్ ఫండ్ అని వస్తుంటుంది, మనం డొనేట్ చేస్తుంటాం. మన వల్లే పిఎం డబ్బులు ఇస్తున్నాడు అనుకోవడం కరెక్ట్ కాదు
Yeah.
కదా. సో దట్ ఈస్ హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్. వాట్ సోషల్ వర్క్ వీ డిడ్ వాజ్ ద కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ బై ఫ్యూ పీపుల్. నాట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ వాజ్ ఫండెడ్ బై సింగిల్ పర్సన్. In fact, the funds we have received is not from Indian thing anything కాదు. It was purely by the work which my father did. వల్ల ఫండ్స్ వచ్చాయి. I have an email from a billionaire who said clearly, we have supported your ministry seeing the passion of your father. My father was a doctor by profession.
Yeah.
RMP అన్న చిన్న డాక్టర్ ప్రొఫెషన్ చేశారు తను. దాని ద్వారా he gave up that thing where he was a good earner.
Yeah.
My dad was a very good earning person. It broke my mother's heart when he said, I will do ministry. My father had a vision. He came to a single vision that he wanted to buy 1,000 acres in Hyderabad. Back in 97. He's the solo signature for all the organization things. సో ఆ విషయంతో అవన్నీ చేశారు. అలాగా చేయడం బట్టే దేవుడికి ఘనత వచ్చింది. దేవుడికి చాలా ఘనత వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే, దేవుడి ఘనత వచ్చినప్పుడు సాతాను కూడా సాతాను పని చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది కదా. అలాగా సాతాను చేసిన పని. కానీ మనం ఫెయిత్ఫుల్గా ఉండుంటే దేవుడిని నిలబెట్టేవాళ్ళు. వాళ్ళు ఆ చేసిన తప్పుల వల్ల వాళ్ళు నిలబడట్లేదు. కానీ మా మమ్మీ ఒక్కటి రియలైజ్ అయ్యారు, ఫ్యామిలీ పడిపోయింది. ఫ్యామిలీ లేపాలంటే ఫస్ట్ పిల్లలు చదువుకోవాలి. పిల్లలు చదువుకోవాలంటే పిల్లల ఎడ్యుకేషన్ తర్వాత మ్యారేజ్. మా ఫ్యామిలీ అంతా నిలబడిపోయింది ఇవాళ.
అంటే క్లియర్ కట్
ప్రయారిటైజేషన్. ఇప్పుడు ఉంటుంది కదా అండి, ఇద్దరు యుద్ధం చేస్తున్నారు అనుకోండి. ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇద్దరు రాజులు చేస్తున్నారు. రాజుకి ఎంత పెద్ద సైన్యం ఉన్నా రాజు బ్రతికుంటేనే యుద్ధం అవుతుంది. రాజు బ్రతికపోతే యుద్ధం అవ్వదు. యుద్ధంలో స్లేవరీ అది. మా మదర్ అగైన్ షీ బిల్ట్. డేవిడ్ రాజు గారు ఒక్కరు చనిపోయారని చెప్పి మా మదర్ ఆగలే, ఇంకొక 3 రాజులను తయారు చేశారు. మా మదర్ ఎప్పుడు చెప్తుంటాను, ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు క్రియేట్ 3 more డేవిడ్ రాజుస్ సో దట్ ఐ కెన్ గో అండ్ ఫైట్ అగైన్.
Are you guys still supporting orphans and widows?
No, Andy. After 2010, after the disputes arise, we are not supporting as much as my father did. But there was always a small phase where I support few people in my life, Mata, who work for me, their kids, Kani.
So they're still in touch with you?
Yeah. There are a lot of people who are in touch with us. In fact,
any stories?
ఇద్దరు twins, they've joined our orphanage. They didn't have a father or mother అండి. వాళ్ళు ఏం చేశారంటే, వాళ్ళకి వాళ్ళ అంకుల్ ఎవరో జాయిన్ చేశారు మా ఆర్ఫనేజ్లో. అలా జాయిన్ చేసినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు వచ్చారు, మంచి చదువులు చదువుకున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళు పెళ్ళిళ్ళు చేసుకున్నారు, ఉద్యోగాలు చేస్తున్నారు. దే ఎర్న్ అబౌట్ in lakhs టుడే. సో a seed which my father sowed through education changed their lives అంటారు ఇవాళ కూడా. ఇప్పుడు కూడా మీరు మా ఫంక్షన్స్కి వస్తే వాళ్ళిద్దరు వస్తుంటారు. ఎందుకు వస్తుంటారు అంటే, దే వెరీ థ్యాంక్ఫుల్. అండ్ వీ డోంట్ వాంట్ 20,000 people టు బీ థ్యాంక్ఫుల్ టు అస్, బట్ వీఆర్ హ్యాపీ వాట్ మై ఫాదర్ చెప్తారు. మనం చేసే దాంట్లో మంచి ఉండాలి కానీ మన పేరు ఉండక్కర్లేదు అన్నట్లు. వాట్ మై ఫాదర్ డిడ్ వాజ్ గివింగ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ టు దెమ్. ఎస్పెషలీ a child's education towards 10th, 12th is very important. And once you set the community or the society towards education till 12th grade, then what they can do with their life is next level.
Yes. Yeah. So you lost your father when you were 18, right? And like you said, it's a very crucial stage.
Correct.
You have forgiven him. End of the day, that void
Yeah.
that your father has left. Yes, Jesus is our comfort.
Correct.
And I agree with all of that. But there is also a practical aspect of it, right? అంటే మరీ రాడికల్ క్రిస్టియానిటీ అని కాదు కానీ చాలా మంది జీసస్ విల్ కంఫర్ట్ యూ అది ఇది అంటారు అండ్ ఐ కంప్లీట్లీ అగ్రీ బట్ యూ కెనాట్ డినై ద ఫ్యాక్ట్ దట్ వాక్యూమ్ ఇస్ స్టిల్ దేర్ యునో డూ యూ స్టిల్ ఫీల్ దట్ యుర్ రికవరింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డెత్ అండ్ ఆల్
100%. ఒకటేంటంటే డాడీ చనిపోయారు, డాడీని అయితే తీసుకురాలేం. డాడీ డ్రీమ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అది చేయగలం. మా డాడీ ఏదైతే ఫైట్ చేశారో ఆ ఫైట్ మేము చేస్తాం. ఎందుకంటే మై ఫాదర్ ప్లేడ్ అ ఫాదర్ రోల్ 100% కదా. సో దానివల్ల వాట్ విజన్ హీ హ్యాడ్, ఇఫ్ యూ ఆస్క్ మీ, రిస్టోరింగ్ ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఈజ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ మై విజన్ 100%. సపోర్టింగ్ ద ఆర్ఫన్స్ ఈజ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ మై విజన్ 100%. సపోర్టింగ్ వీడియోస్ 100%. మేకింగ్ క్రూసైడ్స్, మేకింగ్ మీటింగ్స్ 100%. బట్ ఫస్ట్ నేను నిలబడితే కదండి అవన్నీ చేయగలను. అందుకు మా మదర్ ఒకటే అనుకున్నాం, ఫస్ట్ వీళ్ళని యాజ్ అ ఫ్యామిలీ నిలబెడదాం, దాని తర్వాత వాళ్ళు చేయాల్సింది ఏంటి చేయాలి. టుడే ఆల్సో ఇట్స్ బీన్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ వీఆర్ ఫైటింగ్ లీగల్ బ్యాటిల్స్ ఫర్ లాస్ట్ 18 years.
స్టిల్
వీఆర్ స్టిల్ ఫైటింగ్. సో వీఆర్ ఫైటింగ్ అండ్ వీ విల్ ఫైట్ ఫర్ ఇట్. If it necessary, if it requires my kid to fight for it, my kid will also fight for it. I don't have kids now, but
in future,
in future,
if they want to,
if they want to, 100%. ఎందుకంటే మా మదర్ ఫైట్ చేశారు, మా ఫాదర్ ఫైట్ చేశారు. మా ఫాదర్ ఫైట్ని మా మదర్ కంటిన్యూ చేస్తున్నారు, మా మదర్ ద్వారా మేము కంటిన్యూ చేస్తున్నాం. ఆర్ ప్రేయర్స్ ఇస్ మా మదర్ ఉన్నప్పుడే మేమంతా ఈ ఫైట్ని ఎండ్ చేసి ఒక గుడ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చేసి సొసైటీకి చేయాలన్నది మా మదర్ ఇంటెన్షన్ అండ్ అవర్ ఇంటెన్షన్ at the end of the day. And I see it happening also in the coming years. We will do it. But again, from gospel to the unreached millions ద్వారా ఎంత అవుతుంది, మా ద్వారా ఎంత అవుతుంది అన్నది పర్సనల్గా చేస్తాము. గాస్పల్ ద్వారా చేయాల్సింది గాస్పల్ ద్వారా చేస్తాము. We have elected my mother as the president of the organization and it is under a great leadership and we are fighting the battles and God willing, God's time అని ఉంటుంది కదా. యూనో జోబ్ లైఫ్లో కూడా చాలా స్ట్రగుల్స్ వచ్చిన ఇన్ గాడ్స్ టైమ్ హీ హ్యాస్ గాట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ డబుల్ ద పోర్షన్. సో సేమ్ థింగ్ వీ బిలీవ్ దట్ గాడ్ విల్ గివ్ అస్ డబుల్ ద పోర్షన్. అండ్ బైబిల్లో కూడా ఉంటుంది కదా, ఆర్ఫన్స్ని దేవుడు విడవడం అన్నట్లు మమ్మల్ని ఎప్పుడు దేవుడు విడవలేదు. దెర్ ఈస్ అ వైడ్ అంతా ఉన్న మా స్పిరిచువల్ జర్నీలో మేము చాలా గ్రో అయ్యాం. దేవుడు మమ్మల్ని చాలా దీవించాడు. గాడ్ రియలీ బ్లెస్డ్ us a lot. But God took us through this journey that we have to learn something out of it. And it will happen in God's plan. And 100% today people know who we are, what we have done to the community. You cannot erase what we have done. Just because somebody is retarded doesn't mean the good we have done is never going to lose its value. We have changed a lot of people's life through God. Because God helped us to do it, we have done it. 100% no, there is no definite only మేమే చేసాం అన్నది లేదు. దేవుడి ద్వారానే మేము చేయగలిగాము, దేవుడి ద్వారానే ఇప్పుడు చేస్తున్నాము, దేవుడి ద్వారానే మళ్ళీ ఫ్యూచర్లో కూడా చేస్తాము.
సో right now during the conversation so many biblical references, right? So even as a child, were you always this spiritual? What is your testimony? When did you accept Jesus as your savior?
అందరూ ఏమనుకుంటారంటే పాస్టర్స్ కిడ్స్కి చాలా ఈజీ ఉంటుందేమో అనుకుంటారు, కానీ పాస్టర్స్ కిడ్స్కి ఉల్టా ఉంటుంది యాక్చువల్లీ. నాకు ఒక అమెరికన్ ఒకసారి ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడిగాడు అన్నమాట, స్టీఫెన్ వెన్ డిడ్ యూ యాక్సెప్ట్ జీసస్ క్రైస్ట్ అని అడిగారు. అడిగినప్పుడు నేను అన్నాను, నేను బార్న్ క్రిస్టియన్, ఏంటి యాక్సెప్టింగ్ ఏంటి అని అడిగితే ఆయన లేదు, వెన్ డిడ్ యూ యాక్సెప్ట్ జీసస్ క్రైస్ట్ యాజ్ యువర్ సేవియర్. దట్ రేజ్ అ క్వశ్చన్ టు మీ. అండ్ ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ హీ వెంట్ ఎ లిటిల్ ఫార్వర్డ్ అండ్ హీ టోల్డ్ మీ, your father is a Christian, your mother is a Christian, that doesn't mean you have to be Christian. Why are you, how are you a Christian అని క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ ఇస్తే నాకు 3 days నేను ఒక షాక్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయాను. I think I was 12 years or 13 years old at that point of the time. That question changed my whole faith direction. Yes, he's asking a very valid question. How are you a Christian? What made you? Then I prayed and I asked God for the gift of Holy Spirit. I said, God, this is the gift which you will give it to. It's a personal gift. It is not my father can hand it over to you, I can hand it over to my son. I personally asked for God, for the gift of Holy Spirit. And God has given me the gift of Holy Spirit. And then the whole dynamics have changed for me. As a pastor's kid, every Sunday was in church, for sure. Every Sunday we used to go to church and things like that. We were always given that front portion of stage to stand up or things and everything. But again, God, you should have that passion to serve.
Mental health also plays a critical aspect in sports. Do you agree?
Mental health is not just related to sport, and mental health is very important for anybody. Example, imagine my father, I lost my father at 18. Was I disturbed? 100% I was disturbed. How did I recover from it? Yes, my mom helped me from it. My friends and family helped me out. I recovered. Then again, injury. I had a broken leg. How did I recover? I was mentally strong. I used to send an email. There was this person called Jordan Mellon. He's one of the most dedicated skater. He had about 32 screws in his leg or something like that. He had a lot of injuries, everything, and every time he used to crash and everything. So I sent him an email saying, I broke my leg. How do you think, what do you think I should do? So he sent me, Stephen, as you know, I've also gone through a lot of injuries, but I always kept small-term goals and long-term goals. Small-term goals are goals which you can achieve in a very short time, like 2-3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Long-term goals is which you can achieve in 2 years. So when I broke my leg, my short-term goal was to walk. My long-term goal was to win a national medal and things like that. So that is where, it's very important is talking to somebody, having a mentor, having a leadership, having a coach. Sometimes you may need medical help also. When your friends are not able to help, your family is not able to help, you are not able to handle, that is when you really require a medical help. And it is not a bad thing, Andy. It will really help. I always saw medicine as a place of healing, a place of recovery. Because ఇప్పుడు ఐ కాంట్ సే నా కాలు ఇరిపోయింది దేవా నువ్వు బాగు చేయలేను, ఐ హ్యావ్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ ఫిక్స్డ్ కదండి. సో అలాగా దోస్ థింగ్స్ వర్ దేర్. దేవుడు అద్భుతాలు చేశాడు చాలా జీవితాల్లో, మా జీవితాలు కూడా చేశాడు 100%. బట్ దేర్ ఆర్ సర్టన్ థింగ్స్, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు ఫైట్ ఇట్, ఆల్వేస్ ఆస్క్ ఫర్ మెడికల్ హెల్ప్. డెఫినెట్లీ మా జీవితాల్లో మేము మెడికల్ హెల్ప్ తీసుకున్నామంటే చాలా తక్కువ తీసుకున్నాం. వి వర్ ఆల్వేస్ లీనింగ్ టువర్డ్స్ గాడ్స్ హెల్ప్. 100% we were leading.
But don't you think along with God's help, sometimes you also require medical help?
Yes, 100%.
Even if you have friends and family to support.
100% you need medical help. I won't deny it. And see, I'm running a business. నాకు ఆర్కిటెక్ట్ అవసరం లేదా అంటే 100% అవసరం ఉంటుంది. నాకు ఇంజనీర్ అవసరం ఉండదా అంటే నాకు 100% ఇంజనీర్ అవసరం ఉంటుంది. నాకు మార్కెటింగ్ టీమ్ అవసరం ఉండదా అంటే 100% ఉంటుంది. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై what is your need. If it is a smaller, try to sort it out between. Today everything is free. Mental health also can be browsed online, and everything, people are doing it for free. All these things, you have a lot of access for free stuff which can really help you to get out of it. So sign up for them free conferences and everything. Mental help is required, medical help is required in today's world. But again, if you don't have those sources of friendship, don't have a fellowship, don't have a church to support, don't have a pastor or everything, seek for medical help. It is a short duration of time. It is not like they will completely journey with you. But there was a phase I was going through when I came back from India. I had I was having a very hard through, which I have not shared it with anybody in my family. In fact, I've decided to do suicide also when I retired from the sport. Not because I was not happy, not because I was feeling lonely. I had everything. I had a good caring family. I had a good skating career. But I was clueless where to go, how to go, when to go, how will I go. That is when, I would say there was a phase where I said, okay, 3 days lo chachipodam. Em avvatledam. అయితే ఫస్ట్ డే ఏం చేద్దాం, ఓకే మనకి ఇష్టమైనది అన్నీ తిందాం. రెండో రోజు ఏం చేద్దాం అంటే చచ్చిపోయిన వాళ్ళకి ఏదో ఒకటి పెడతారు కదా, ఒక ఇండియన్ ఫ్లాగ్ పెట్టాలంటే నేను ఏం చేశాను, నా ఇంటి రూమ్ బయట నా మెడల్స్ ఉంటే అక్కడ ఒక ఇండియన్ ఫ్లాగ్ హ్యాంగ్ చేసి, ఓకే నేను చనిపోతే రేపొద్దున ఈ ఫ్లాగ్ నా మీద పెడతారు మా ఫ్యామిలీ అని హ్యాంగ్ చేసామాట. హ్యాంగ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇంటికి వచ్చాను, పడుకున్నాను. రాత్రి మా మదర్కి ఒక కల వచ్చిందంట, నేను చనిపోయినట్లు ఆ ఫ్లాగ్ నా మీద పెట్టినట్లు. పొద్దున్న 6 గంటకి మా మదర్ లెగిసి ఆ ఫ్లాగ్ ఫోల్డ్ చేసి ఒక కవర్లో పెట్టేశారు. ఇవాళ కూడా మా మదర్కి తెలుసో తెలీదో ఈ ఇన్సిడెంట్. మా మదర్ నాతో షేర్ చేశారు. 3rd డే నేను చచ్చిపోదాం అనుకున్న రోజు మా మదర్కి కల రావడం ఏంటి, ఆ ఫ్లాగ్ ఫోల్డ్ చేసి లోపల పెట్టడం ఏంటి. గాడ్ ఆల్వేస్ కెన్ బ్రింగ్ సొల్యూషన్ టు యూ. ఆ రోజు నాకు అర్థమైంది, దేవుడితో నా లైఫ్ అయిపోలేదు, దేవుడికి ఇంకా నా లైఫ్తో పని ఉంది. అందుకే లేకపోతే మా మమ్మకి కలగవడం ఏంటి, మా మమ్మీ లెగిసి ఆ ఫ్లాగ్ ఫోల్డ్ చేసి అది లోపల పెట్టడం ఏంటి. సో గాడ్ కెన్ డూ వండర్స్ ఇన్ యువర్ లైఫ్. వెన్ ఐ వాజ్ గోయింగ్ త్రూ డిప్రెషన్, ఇట్ వాస్ గాడ్ హూ హెల్ప్ మీ. Nobody would fold that flag, but my mom did that for me. So obviously we are all weak, and you may think I'm the most strongest person in life or anything. Yes, I face challenges, I face depression, I fought depression, I've had financial issues, I have fought financial issues and everything. Nobody handed over anything to me. God helped me, my family stood for me, my friends supported me. It's a combination. Never take anything for granted. I don't have relatives, but I have friends who are my relatives.
మీ ఫాదర్ సైడ్ do you have anybody in touch with you?
Nobody, Andy. Last I saw them is at my dad's funeral.
Okay.
It's been almost, I think, 14 years.
Maybe because they don't want to get into the controversies.
Nothing like that. My mom sent an invitation for my wedding also. మా మదర్ ఇన్విటేషన్ పంపించారు. కొన్ని మందికి గిల్టీనెస్తో వాళ్ళు ఇంకా ముఖం చూపెట్టుకోలేరు. అండ్ లెట్ ఇట్ బీ లైక్ దాట్. మనం ఫర్గివ్ చేసాం మన తరపు నుంచి, మనం మన పెళ్ళికి ఇన్విటేషన్ పంపించాం మన తరపు నుంచి, అది మా మదర్ పంపించారు. నేను పంపించానంటే నేను పంపించలేదు. వాళ్ళు వస్తే నేను హ్యాపీ అవుతానా సాడ్ అవుతానా అని కూడా నేను ఐ కాంట్ ఆన్సర్ టు దిస్. ఐ ఫర్గివెన్ దెమ్. ఒక ఇన్విటేషన్ మా తరపు నుంచి అయితే, ఎందుకంటే మా ఇంట్లో అదే లాస్ట్ శుభకార్యం అన్నట్లు అలాగా పంపించారు మా మమ్మీ సెంటిమెంట్. మై మామ్ ఈజ్ అ వెరీ ఫర్గివింగ్ పర్సన్, 100%. అలాగని చెప్పి నువ్వు బయటకు వెళ్ళి 10 మాటలు అంటే కరెక్ట్ కాదు. దేవుడే చూసుకుంటాడు అన్నది కూడా మేము నమ్ముతాం. అండ్ 100% మా లైఫ్లో దేవుడు మా కోసం దేవుడు యుద్ధం చేసిన రోజులు ఉన్నాయి. దేవుడు యుద్ధం చేస్తున్నాడు, దేవుడు పెద్ద యుద్ధం చేయబోతున్నాడు కూడా అని నమ్ముచున్నాను నేను.
Awesome. Okay, now we are moving into a fun segment. Too much of serious talk, Gavatti. Even
Yes.
I need fun right now. Shall we get started?
Yeah.
Okay. If skating did not exist, what would you be famous for instead? Famous for?
Maybe boxing, I feel.
Oh, wow.
I'm a fighter.
Okay. Any regrets that you have?
No regrets. Not
So
at
far,
all.
nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. If your life was made into a movie, who do you think would play your role?
That's a very tricky question, but I think Allu Arjun would do a good job.
Okay. If you could meet one athlete, who would it be?
Evander Holyfield.
Okay.
He's the one who beat Mike Tyson.
Okay. What's the one life lesson your father has taught you?
One thing was, he always was a fighter. He always kept himself busy, always honored people and with respect. You know, there is a saying antar kada, people always forget what you gave them, but people will never forget how you treat them. I think my father always treated people with a great attitude, a great smile. That is one thing I feel I like about him, and I try to implement that in my life, is always treat people the right way.
Okay. Home cooked meals or cheat days?
Cheat days any day.
Okay. Winning a medal or inspiring the next generation, which is more fulfilling?
I think winning medals, I've done it for 18 years. Now the next 18 years I would focus on inspiring people.
Where are the 100 medals? Where are more than 100 medals
The
actually?
last I saw one of the national silver medal my nephew was playing.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm not taking care of the medals, I would say.
How many on total do you have?
I think combined is about more than 100 medals. 67 gold medals from district, state, national to international, and 30 something was silver and 13 were bronze. So more than 100 medals in my skating career.
What is the one thing people would be surprised to know about you? Even your friends and everybody.
Tricky question. Surprised. Lot of people don't know I worked as an Uber driver. Lot
Oh.
of people don't know I worked as a server.
Oh, so many people.
Lot
know.
of people don't know I went through depression and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these three things I think a lot of people didn't know, especially the depression part. A lot of people didn't know. But one friend, Kirat, really helped me out to get out of it.
If you could live anywhere in the world apart from India, where would it be?
Switzerland.
Okay. What is the one thing that your wife does which is annoying, but you also find it cute secretly?
Packing. I feel like we go on a 3-day trip, but she will pack for 10 days and then but she gets everything. Everything is ready. Yeah.
Okay. Never have I ever binge watched a show. Did you ever binge watch any show?
I have seen a lot of shows.
Like continuously binge watch?
I've seen this show during Corona, I think. I've seen that that marriage Rishta show. Seema Auntie.
Oh, the reality show.
The reality show. I've seen it.
Oh, you were married by then?
No, I was not married, so I was very interested.
Would you have gone to her?
No, I wouldn't have gone.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
This is a small token from our
Thank you
show.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I had such an amazing time. Yeah.